Call to order the meeting of the Greenwood Common Council on Monday, June the 6th. If you would please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and after the pledge, please remain standing. We'll be led in prayer this evening by Pastor Cleon Wright of the Mount Carmel Christian Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty and merciful Father, in whom we live and move and have our being, we thank you for all those in days long past who sacrificed and served that we might be a part of this great nation today. We thank you for our leaders and those that serve in the fire and police departments and all public servants everywhere. And we would ask your blessing upon the purpose of this meeting, that you would grant to our leaders wisdom from on high, and that you would help us to all develop an attitude that we would only want to make decisions that you would be willing to honor, to approve, and to bless. This we pray in the honor of your holy name. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call.
Vape.
Present.
Campbell.
Here.
Austin.
Here.
Gibson. Here. Hill.
Here.
Hopper.
Here.
Lexi.
Here. Here.
And Williams.
Here.
We have a quorum, and just for the record, Mr. Williams is attending tonight's meeting virtually. Minutes, all of us should receive a copy of the minutes from our last regular meeting on May the 16th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Vape. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lexi. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, then roll call on the minutes.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson. Aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
And Williams.
Aye.
Minutes are approved on a vote of 9-0. Reports, Corporation Council.
The Idents Monthly has been uploaded to SharePoint. If you have any questions, please contact the legal department.
All right. Controller.
Nothing at this time.
Any committee or board reports?
Mr. Chairman, the Advisory Plan Commission meeting did meet on Monday, May 23rd. Among the items that was discussed and approved were some waivers. PC 2022-13 Asher Vape landscape waivers, as well as PC 2021-107 Greenwood Sports Complex landscape waivers. Additionally, we did PC 2022-415 the GH landscape waiver. And then finally, we did took action on PC 2022-028 on Cummins primary plat.
All right. Thank you. Any questions? All right. Moving on, then this is the opportunity that we set aside for members of the public to address the council concerning items that are on the agenda. So if you're here tonight and wish to speak to the council, now is your opportunity. There's a 5-minute time limit. Step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Or if you're online, speak up online. All right, hearing none, then moving on to ordinances and resolutions. There are none under notice of intent to consider and first reading, second reading.
Resolution number 2207, a resolution of the Greenwood Common Council to adopt a written fiscal plan for the annexation of approximately 294.9 acres located either side of 5 Points Road north of Main Street, extending the County Line Road, referencing annexation ordinance number 2208, sponsored by Vape.
Do I have a motion? Motion, Mr. Lexi, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Foster. Any discussion on the council? Hearing none, then roll call, second reading, resolution number 2207.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson. Aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
And Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution 2207 passes second reading 9-0. Ordinance number 2208.
An ordinance annexing certain territory contiguous to the city of Greenwood, Indiana, placing it within corporate boundaries and making it a part of the city of Greenwood, and redefining the corporate boundaries of the city of Greenwood, Indiana, to include approximately 294 acres located south of East County Line Road and east of North Five Points Road, various owners, sponsored by Vape.
Have a motion? Motion, Mr. Hopper, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Foster. Any discussion on the council? Hearing none, then roll call, ordinance 2208, second reading.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson. Aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
And Bates.
Aye.
Ordinance 2208 passes second reading 9-0. Resolution 2208.
A resolution amending resolution 92-2, a resolution joining with the mayor and establishing a city policy for compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act and addressing related matters, to appoint a current city engineer as the ADA coordinator, sponsored by Foster.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Foster, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bates. Any discussion on the council? Hearing none, then roll call, resolution 2208, second reading.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson. Aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
And Campbell.
Aye. Resolution 2208 passes second reading 9-0. Ordinance 2210.
An ordinance vacating platted variable width parking easement referencing subplat for Greenwood Springs Commercial Subdivision, Lot 2, Lot 7, sponsored by King.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lexi, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Foster. Any discussion on the council? Hearing none, then roll call, ordinance 2210, second reading.
Gibson. Aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
And Foster.
Aye.
Ordinance 2210 passes second reading 9-0. Ordinance 2211.
An ordinance amending the Greenwood Municipal Code 1993 as amended, Chapter 2, City Administration, Article 10, Miscellaneous Provision, Section 2-121, Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA Policy Statement to change the ADA coordinator, sponsored by Foster.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Foster, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bates. Any discussion on the council? Hearing none, then roll call, ordinance 2211, second reading.
Excuse me. Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
And Gibson. Aye.
Ordinance 2211 passes second reading 9-0. Resolution 2209.
A resolution confirming resolution 2205, the declaration of a certain area within the city of Greenwood an economic revitalization area, and qualifying certain real property improvements for property tax abatement and setting the time and place for a public hearing. 1173 Airport Parkway LLC, 3 buildings A, B, and C, sponsored by Campbell and Hopper.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Foster, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hopper. This is scheduled for a public hearing tonight. So open it up for a public hearing. If you are here, either in person or online, wish to speak for or against resolution 2209, either speak up if you're online, step to the podium if you're here, and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Eric Prime, Vape law firm on behalf of the petitioner 1173 Airport Parkway. As a quick refresher, I've got a PowerPoint that I can fire up, but I think you all know what this is about. We've got 3 buildings, not yet built, but to be built buildings A, B, and C that are just south of existing buildings on Airport Parkway. My client was already occupying one of those buildings with their office. They have a second building that's basically leased out. Those buildings are under a 10-year abatement. In working with the city officials, we determined that was a little heavy for these next 3 buildings, so we agreed to a 4-3-2 step down abatement agreement. So building A would get a 4-year tax abatement. When building B would get a 3-year, and building C would get a 2-year. So all the preliminary ordinances and resolutions have been passed to establish the economic revitalization area for that to allow for you to approve tonight's ordinance. So that's where we are. If you have other questions, I can answer.
All right, any questions for Mr. Crum? All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against ordinance 22 or resolution 2209? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any discussion on the council on resolution 2209? Hearing none, then roll call, resolution 2209.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Middleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson. Aye. And Hill.
Resolution 2209 passes 9-0. New business, introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 2212.
An ordinance amending the 2022 salary ordinance, common council ordinance number 21317, to amend positions in community development services, sponsored by Bates and Gibson.
Anybody wish to talk about this one? All right, ordinance 2213.
An ordinance amending the 2022 salary ordinance, common council ordinance number 2137, to increase maximum pay rates for certain part-time, seasonal, and standby positions, sponsored by Bates and Gibson.
All right.
Good evening, Greg Wright, City Controller. In association with the Mayor's Office, we've been working with department heads to determine where they're having trouble with hiring part-time staff. I do know that particularly parks maintenance is short 20 people for doing mowing. Street department is having trouble getting some laborers in there for part-time work. Several other departments have expressed that they are having trouble getting people. I think it's really a nationwide problem, but our attempt to address that is to raise the pay rates for some of these part-time positions in the hopes that we can attract some people in and fill some of those. We're not looking to raise the budgeted amounts to spend, seeing as we are halfway through the year and we're going to have some money from not being able to get people, and then also we'll probably not be able to get all of those positions filled. So our hope is that we can at least get some people to come in at the higher rates and get some people in for these positions that are desperately needed.
Mr. Wright, is there a need for us to suspend the rules? It seems like that. I know that even CDS is behind on things, so it seems like that this is a critical situation.
If you would be so kind as to consider that, that would definitely help, so that we can get going on trying to hire some people, get the publication of the new rates out, and maybe get some people attracted to come in and work for us.
I think that much.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Gibson to suspend the rules through first reading on ordinance 2213. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Lexi. Any discussion on suspension?
What's the current pay rates that we currently have, and what are you looking to bump it up to?
It depends on the position. Most of them are going up around $2 to $3 an hour, just depending on what the position is. I know, like for the parks maintenance, for the mower positions, right now they're paying 17. They're looking for a max of 25 in there for that one, but they don't want to pay that much. They're just hoping they can get people in around 20. For some of the other ones, it was only $1 or $2 more, but the hope is that we can attract somebody. I know code enforcement's also one that just had some issues getting people in, and they specifically been told that the pay rate didn't compare to what they can get at other places. You know, go to the hardware store or whatever and work there.
right, any other questions on suspension? Hearing none, then roll call on ordinance 2213, suspension of the rules through first reading.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
And Hopper.
Rules are suspended through first reading on a vote of 9-0. Do I have a motion on first reading?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gibson, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bates. Any discussion on the council? And then roll call, ordinance 2213, first reading.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
And Lexi.
Aye.
Ordinance 2213 passes first reading 9-0.
Mr. President, I move for suspension for second reading.
I have a motion by Ms. Gibson to suspend the rules on 2213 through second reading. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Lexi. Any discussion on suspension? Hearing none, then roll call, suspension of the rules through second reading, ordinance 2213.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
And Pendleton.
Aye.
Rules are suspended through second reading and a vote of 9-0. Do I have a motion on second reading?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gibson, second. Second. Second by Mr. Lexi. Any discussion on the council? Hearing none, then roll call, ordinance 2213, second reading.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
And Williams.
Aye.
Ordinance 2213 passes second reading 9-0. Ordinance 2214.
An ordinance providing for additional appropriations from the aviation fund to budget classification 431, 150,211, and from the cumulative capital development fund to budget classification 431, 377,500, sponsored by Gibson.
You want to talk about this one?
Yes, Greg Wright, City Controller. This would provide for, there's a project for an apron expansion at the airport. It does have federal funding through the FAA. However, the amount of our federal grant was quite a bit short of what the cost came in, mostly because the inflation of everything as far as labor and materials is going. So that's where the 150,211 from the aviation fund is being requested. That will come out of their operating fund. Does not receive any kind of tax dollars. It's funded completely by the airport operations. They do have the cash on hand to cover that. The second part of it from the cumulative capital development fund, the 377,500, would fund a stormwater project at the same time as this apron expansion. The airport has for a very long time needed additional stormwater detention at the north end. We've done some hangar building and some other projects out there without making that happen. We're at the point where nothing else can really happen without it. We can get the cost lower by doing it at the same time as this project with the same contractor. We also are taking this Thursday to the Board of Airport Commissioners an agreement for them to repay the city this $377,500. There's currently a project in place that we're hoping to generate some funds from some airport land. If that does not happen, they do have the ability over a 3-year period to repay that. So we are anticipating that they would have that repaid no later than 2026. We're just asking that the board or that the council would approve that appropriation and allow the city to front the funds to make this stormwater project happen, and then the airport will pay for it back to the city over time. So that'll be over the next couple of weeks coming up on your agenda.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Wright?
I have another question though on another subject. Mr. Wright, should we have considered suspending the rules on the one for CDS? Because aren't they in a hiring bind also?
I do know that staff engineer position that has gone unfilled for quite a while now that is being converted to the engineering technician. I do know they've not had any luck filling that. I don't know timeline wise, Mark and Lisa, is that something you need push through on suspension, or is that something for the process?
I would put the normal process. We don't, I'm not going to go right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2210.
A resolution of the Greenwood Common Council waiving non-compliance of Very Good Holdings LLC regarding its failure to timely file its application for deduction from assessed valuation of structures in economic revitalization areas, ERA, sponsored by Gibson.
All right, it's my understanding that we have online Mr. Fragnoli from Very Good Homes and Mr. Adam Stone as well. Either one of you wish to address this issue?
You're on mute, Adam.
Yeah, Adam, you're muted.
How about now? Can you hear me now, Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I'll get started, and then if there's anything from the company that you require, let us know. So the abatement committee is supportive, and it would recommend this waiver. Typically, we don't, as you all know, but this is a little bit of special circumstances. So they had new construction in 2020, and rather than doing a partial, they filed all the required paperwork at that point in time between the city and the county. They actually decided not to do the phased abatement at that time, and they paid their full taxes unabated on the partial construction. Fast forward to 2021, they received a notice of the remaining construction. They mistakenly did not file with the county what's called a Form 322 when they got the additional assessed value. They just missed it. Everything else was filed, the CF1, everything else was reviewed and compliant. Really just kind of an administrative error, and frankly, it was a little unclear with the county as to what all was required. So after we've had multiple conversations with him, his staff, the county, and then amongst the committee ourselves, we believe in this case that this is one that they've done all the appropriate things, and especially given that they actually elected to pay full taxes on the partial, we believe that while they didn't file the 322 on the second, they're still overly insubstantial compliance with this being year one of their abatement. So happy to answer any questions. This waiver would allow them to get the full 1 year deduction starting in pay 23 for the full completed assessment.
All right, Mr. Fragnoli, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, the bottom line is that it was my first time ever filing this stuff. It was purely ignorance on my part, not making any excuses. I understand the process thoroughly now going forward with regard to Form 322. So it's just a mishap on my part.
All right, thank you. Any questions on the council at this time? Is this scheduled for a public hearing at our next council meeting? So. All right, hearing nothing in from the council. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time. I know, Mr. Fragnoli, you're calling from California, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, hope the weather's nice out there. Thank you for being here tonight. All right, moving on. Resolution 2211.
A resolution approving an interlocal cooperation agreement between the city of Greenwood and Johnson County regarding replacement of Honey Creek Bridge, sponsored by Hill.
Someone like to talk about this one? There's a request for suspension, so if you give us a reason as to why.
For the record, Chris Jones, Director of Stormwater Management. Yes, this is the interlocal agreement just between the fiscal body, the council, and the county council, being the replacement of the Honey Creek Bridge. It has been out for bid. The bid is ready to be awarded, and so this is just to finalize the agreement between city and the county council.
North of Stones Crossing, is that what that's?
North of Stones Crossing.
All right, any questions from the council? Would entertain a motion to suspend rules to first reading. Motion, Mr. Hopper, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Any questions on suspension? Hearing none, then roll calls on suspension of rules to first reading, resolution 2211.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
And Bates.
Aye.
Rules are suspended through first reading of resolution 2211. Motion on first reading.
Second.
Sorry, who said, Mr. Hopper? Made the motion, second by Mr. Foster. Any discussion on the council? Hearing none, then roll call, resolution 2211, first reading.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
And Campbell.
Aye. Resolution 2211 passes first reading 9-0. Motion, we have a motion, Mr. Hopper, for suspension to second reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gibson. Any discussion on suspension? All right, hearing none, roll call on suspension of the rules to second reading, resolution 2211.
Gibson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
And Foster.
Aye.
Resolution 2211, the rules were suspended through second reading on vote of 9-0. Motion on second reading. Motion, Mr. Hopper, second.
Second.
By Mr. Bates. Any discussion? Hearing none, then roll call, resolution 2211, second reading.
Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
And Gibson.
Resolution 2211 passes second reading, voted 9-0.
When will it start, Chris? You know, you can just scream it from where you're at.
Yeah, actually, we're looking at September start date.
Will the road, I assume the road will be closed for a while.
Road will be closed for a period of 90 days.
We're doing that all at the same time we're putting the roundabout and everything in. Is that all going to be at the same time frame?
That is the plan. That's why we delayed this from last year.
All right, miscellaneous business. This is the second opportunity for members of the public to address the council, this time concerning items that are not on the agenda. So if you'd wish to do so, please step forward to the podium or speak up online, state your name and address for the record, and there's a 5-minute time. Anyone? All right. Seeing none, hearing none, then moving on. Corporation, or the council, conflict of interest.
For Sonia Mayo, who is employed by the legal department, for her daughter Charlie Mayo, who will be employed by the Parks Department.
We have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bates. Motion by Mr. Hopper, second by Mr. Bates. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have,
Yeah, we have
Mr. Williams online, so we'll do a roll call vote.
You'll just need to abstain so we can do a roll call vote.
Let's do a roll call vote on the conflict of interest.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
And Hill.
Motion is approved, vote of 9-0. CF1s, Holly Taylor.
Move to find Polly Taylor Inc. Resolution 1305. Excuse me, substantial compliance.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Hopper, second by Mr. Bates. Roll call.
Lexi.
Aye.
Pendleton.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gibson.
Aye.
Hill. And Hopper.
Approved a vote of 9-0. FedEx.
Move to find FedEx supply chain resolution 1918 non-compliant.
Motion to find them non-compliant by Mr. Hopper, second.
Second.
By Mr. Foster. Roll call or any discussion?
Just your reason for non-compliance. They have woefully missed all financial targets and employment targets.
Yeah, the review committee has determined that they were not compliant. So that was their recommendation. All right, any other questions?
27% of the job commitment and only 57% of the investment commitment.
So that's 2 years into a 5-year abatement. All right, any other questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Middleton,
Nay.
Williams. Williams.
Aye.
Bates,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
And Lexi.
Do you want to change yours to
Yeah, I'll
aye?
change that to aye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to find it non-compliant.
We're-
Yes, say yes to this.
Yeah. It is a little confusing. All right. So the motion to find them non-compliant has been approved with a vote of 9-0. Next.
511 73 Airport Parkway LLC resolution 2209 be substantially compliant.
Motion, Mr. Hopper, second.
Second.
By Mr. Who said second? Oh, Mr. Bates, I'm sorry. And roll call.
Williams,
Aye.
Bates,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
And Middleton.
Aye.
Motion is approved, a vote of 9-0.
Now the note says this is just duplicate. Do we still need to vote? Or the outline says the properties LLC resolution 2016 substantial compliance.
Motion, Mr. Hopper, second by Mr. Bates. Roll call.
Bates,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gibson,
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Hopper.
Aye.
Lexi.
Aye.
Middleton.
Aye.
And Williams.
Aye.
Motion is approved, a vote of 9-0. Anything else from council? All right, other miscellaneous business, Corporation Council,
Nothing.
Controller,
Nothing.
Mr. Mayor.
I have nothing.
Thank you, and we are adjourned.